capturing the moment. It sounds easy, but if you've ever picked up a camera, you know it's a lot easier said than done. You're looking at pictures from metro area photographer Andrew Vick, who grew up in Edina, and he's going to tell us today just how easy it is to take that picture-perfect picture. Thank you, Andrew, for joining us. Yeah, no pressure at all.
Well, it's that time of year because a lot of people think they're expert camera people. Now we all have our cameras and our cell phones and all the digital cameras, so we want to get some help with that. But first of all, I understand that you went out to San Diego. Why did you go out to San Diego to study photography?
Well, from San Diego, obviously coming from Edina, it's quite a bit of a leap, and I always ask myself, what am I doing back home here come January anyway? But it's wonderful. It's such a great creative culture out there, and it's developing my West Coast eye. I didn't realize how much people would connect with that skill once I brought it back home, and it's been fun. I'm living the dream.
People encourage you to follow this passion, right? This is not something that you just always thought you were going to do, right?
Exactly. It all started by bringing a camera to a friend's wedding, and when they chose to use more of the photos that I took at the friend's wedding than the paid photographers, they said, you really need to do something about this, and we're going to force it upon you. So I got to just continue to take classes and shoot and travel.
Well, that's very cool. And you do obviously have a natural ability to be able to capture the moment. Is it something that all of us can learn if we don't really have it in us to capture that right, perfect picture?
Well, I think there's always some ideas of being able to bring it down to saying just some basic concepts you learn in Photography 101 or back in school, and just say, everyone's got digital point and shoots at home, and how can I take this to my summer barbecue, or how can I take this to the next potluck and take a little bit better photo and continue to get better at my art and what I'm doing. So.
All right, well, we're going to take a look at some befores and afters, if you will, of some of the pointers that you brought for us here today. First of all, you say, don't say cheese. We want to show a picture of people saying cheese for a photograph. Oh my gosh, that looks terrible. Oh, yeah. That looks awful.
That's actually our production staff who do an amazing job every day. So we want to thank them, but they were instructed to say cheese for this picture.
So what's wrong with that?
By saying cheese, your mouth becomes this line, and you can see the molars and the luncha you had in the back of your teeth. And so when you say cheese, what happens is the top part of your face, your eyes just don't have any life to them. And so I kept thinking, what word can we use that you hear at parties that's celebratory? And so the word that we came up with was hooray. And I dare anybody at home to say the word hooray and still have a frown on their face. So I always tell people in a group setting, put your arm around somebody next to you, even if you don't know them, and on the count of 3, say hooray.
So that's a group saying hooray.
There you go.
And they look like they're having a great time. Much better looking than that last photo.
Where did cheese ever come from? I wonder that. I like hooray much better. Cheese always makes me hungry. So.
All right, the camera angle can make a big difference too, right?
Big difference. We're used to seeing life from eye to eye. So if you suddenly take the camera and either bring it above your eye level or bring it down below, what can happen is it can change the angle of the photo completely. So instead of having a normal everyday photo and a snapshot, much like you see up here, the girl beforehand was just a straight-on shot. Now you take the camera angle and bring it up on top, and her eyes are the focal of that picture, and her smile and her grin just lights up the whole camera. Now, you can take that concept and you can use it. So what we learned by taking kid photography like this is that, again, the eyes are the focal point of the picture, and the kid has a slimming effect. And so everyone wants to look thinner in photos. And so why not take that same concept and use it in a group setting as well? So I shoot from picnic tables, ladders, up on hillsides, down on groups, but everyone, that way what happens is not only are they saying hooray, their eyes come to life, but now you can bring out the life in those eyes because that becomes the focal point of the picture. Now it can work reverse, and you can see right here there's a kid.
That's adorable.
He's
so you just just hovered over him, basically. Right?
I basically
So you want to move around with the kid is what I'm guessing, because they're all over the place.
Completely, and it's interactive. So even if you have kids at home, it's getting down on the grass with them while Dad's playing with them, while Dad's wrestling with them. And in the reverse can also work. So if you're taking a photo down from the grass, looking up at things, what that can do is that brings out the architecture. It adds power to the photo. And Minnesota Bride comes out in a couple months, but the photo that's being featured of ours in there is actually taken from a bridge, laying on my stomach, looking up at a castle with a bride and groom kissing in Germany. So.
And we want to mention you're actually you were nominated
Best
for
of.
Best of,
Thank
right?
you very much. Yeah.
For 07 and this year, twice.
For sure 07. We'll wait and find out about 08.
Okay.
You got our fingers
Got our
crossed on
fingers
that.
crossed.
So.
How about taking pictures into the sun? We're always told we can't do that.
Yeah,
We
my
can?
mom always told me never stare into the sun, but what she doesn't know is I've been shooting into the sun ever since I could. And so a classic example here is a bride and groom out in the middle of Wasika, and we're shooting directly into the sun without a flash. The kicker for this photo is to be able to, every camera's got a flash button that you can turn on or off. So by throwing a flash into the camera, and now you're hitting the flash
wow.
on button, you can light up her dress. And now the grass in the foreground becomes green, and no longer is everyone posed looking at the camera, silhouetted out. Now you can see their faces.
Phenomenal photograph right there. Yeah.
Yes. So, and if you want him to look black out, if you want the sunset to be, just keep the flash off.
Keep the flash off.
So say hooray.
Say hooray.
Move around, start taking them from different angles, and flash on if you're shooting into the sun.
If you're shooting in the sun,
All
exactly.
right.
Now,
You're gonna be
what's
pro.
really amazing about this young man is you just came back from Guatemala, and you're not using your expertise and your craft to try to help people all over the world. Tell us about that and the starts of that.
Exactly. I feel like there's people all over the world that aren't having their stories being told anywhere. And so if I know that I have a gift with the camera to be able to help in that, I'm all ears. And so I had an opportunity to go to Guatemala, and I spent 3 weeks there just understanding the people and the culture. And what the biggest deficiency in that culture that they're seeing is that the women of the culture aren't being educated the way they need to. And so as we got to travel and understand and see, I know there are going to be some photos that are going to show up here of some of the photos of the kids that we took in Guatemala. They have such life to them.
Good angle on that one.
Thank you very much. And that one's from the ground looking up. There you go. But within that, they have such joy for what little they have. Education's a big problem, as well as nourishment and food that's there. And so what I learned is that the women are usually the last in the households to get an opportunity to go to school. And so if there's a way that we can help bridge that gap and step into that and tell of that story, obviously TV is a great example of that, but I want to do that even further and continue that. So I had a dream, and people told me once upon a time that your dreams aren't big enough until they're laughable. And people have been laughing at many dreams of mine for a long time, but what we decided to do is, over the course of next year, every couple that's found love here in Minnesota that we're working with, we're able to then take on and sponsor a kid in Guatemala, some of the kids that you saw in the TV there. And through that, we can either send them to school or nurse them for the entire year. So I love the concept of, like, because they found love here in the States, that we can take that same love, and someone who's never experienced love like that at all can now benefit from that.
Very cool. And you are doing that with a number of other...
Exactly. I shared that vision with some people, and it got a great reception as well. And so With This Ring is an organization that steps into an area of need, and now we're able to then meet needs in other places in the world.
I want to ask you a quick question, too. Where's a good place to pick up some single women?
Weddings. You want my job.
Weddings. That's why you got into it, isn't it? I know you.
That's the big
girlfriend
secret.
at a wedding.
A year ago, so it's worked.
We tell all here, yes.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank
Andrew,
you.
very much.
Great job.
It's
Keep
great
up the
to be
good
here.
work for sure. LivingRoomStudios.com is his website. The phone number 952-929-4295.